up? So it has been quite a while. I know, I'm sorry. I'm gonna fill you guys in on what's been going on. I'll let you guys know how the medicine shelf went. I didn't honor it, well over passing, but not quite enough to honor the shelf. But I did get what's known as like clinical honors, which basically means what I did in the hospital, like with patients, my attendings thought well enough to say this student exceeded expectations clinically. But I didn't do well enough on the shelf to get like a full-on honors for the rotation. You win some, you lose some. But we're now on to psychiatry. I tried to vlog some and I'll like sprinkle what I did vlog in, but the thing about psychiatry is it was really hard to show the actual like facility without showing some sort of patient identified information. So I tried to at least show you what a day looked like, and trust me, every single one of these days looked the exact same way. Good morning. It's Sunday, October something. It's all moving too quick for me, so I can't keep track. But I have a Sunday morning shift. I'm on psychiatry. Going in like an hour and a half before rounds to prep the list. Means checking in on every patient to see how they did last night. And then preparing the notes so that the attending and resident can kind of fill in the blanks as we go through the rounds on each patient. But everything's been going well so far. I'm on acute care psych, which means I'm seeing everything at like directly off of, directly as it comes into the ED, and then they come to our unit for anything that is like acute psychosis or very belligerent behavior or anything like that. People usually don't stick around that long, maybe like a week and a half. You're able to see some really interesting things. I'm not saying that I want to do psych, but I'm saying that it's been very interesting to say the least. So let's talk about rounds on psychiatry. So rounds is when all of us as a patient care team go to the unit to talk to each one of the patients. And our conversation greatly depends on whether the patient has been on the unit or not. If this is the first time that we're seeing the patient, then it's more so to confirm what was already presented to us from what happened bringing the patient in. So if a patient came in because they were acutely psychotic, then it's about trying to assess their orientation, what were their thoughts, what's their thought process, what's their behavior, and that will determine whether or not, what sorts of medications we're going to use. If a patient has been on the unit for a couple of days, and it's more of a progress thing, which is asking them about how they're doing, ways that we can help them, seeing their mental status, seeing if things are improving. The thing that we ask every patient, regardless of if it's the first day or the last day, is asking whether or not they're having homicidal thoughts or suicidal thoughts, as these obviously are very dangerous things. As a student, it's a great time for you to learn how to communicate with people. Again, I stress this is very important, but it's really about learning how to be affectionate, be empathetic, be professional, because obviously a lot of our patients are dealing with an altered sense of reality that is sometimes difficult to navigate. My calling card on this rotation was being the master communicator, going in and speaking with all of the patients that were just hard to communicate with or only wanted to speak to certain people. One particular patient really would only respond well to me communicating with her. And me personally, I kind of understood that going in. I'm pretty good at relating with anybody, getting my point across and being able to, understand where someone else is coming from. So I kind of realized early that was going to be my contribution to the team, and this rotation really tested those boundaries. But overall, I think I did a pretty good job in serving in that role. So when I go to the gym, I like to do 20 minutes of cardio up on this rooftop area, or 30 minutes, and then go downstairs and do the weights afterwards. Typically just like to get the heart rate extremely high during the cardio with some sprints or stuff like this, and then go downstairs and try to keep that up with some, really intense resistance work in the weight room. So the day that I recorded this one was actually our OSCE day, and they let us out early, like 11 o'clock, and I went and did this. In between that and my OSCE, which I'll show in the next clip, was at 1. But normally when I got done with work at about 1 or 2 o'clock is when I would do this, and then after this I would go home. So the next clip is on a day where, like I mentioned, the OSCE followed at 1 p.m. and this was like at 11 o'clock in the morning or so. Headed to the OSCE, guys. Psychiatry OSCE. Luckily no physical exam, but a pretty long interview. We have to screen for one primary illness like schizophrenia or depression, and then another secondary one, which could be like a personality disorder or something like that. So doing an interview, full interview, and then doing a write-up, making sure you have a plan in place, meds, therapy. Should take about, I'd say about an hour to do the full thing. They let us out of my rotation. Clinical responsibilities are like 11, so I got to go do a quick workout. Always making use of your time. Did a quick workout, so now we're gonna walk right on back to campus and get this OSCE done. OSCE is done. It took right at an hour total. Yeah, OSCE was basically everything I expected. Long interview. I can't really tell you what my guy has right now because it's against the rules. But long interview, putting a lot of information together, making sure you have a plan. It really shows how much you learn over 6 weeks of a rotation because, we never write up a full note without like a template. And now you basically given a sheet of paper and saying write it all out. And, it's pretty simple to do. So yeah, last day on the block. This should be a pretty short day too. I mean, psychiatry days usually aren't long. I've been getting there about 7 to 7:30 and leaving before 2 every day. But last day, most places try to get you out to start studying for the shelf. So I should be out by, I'm gonna guess 12. Let's go for 12 today, and we'll see. All right. Whew. It's over. I just took my shelf. 110 questions. Pretty on par with what I've been seeing in the practice exam, so I think I did pretty well. Other great news. So I don't really talk about the research I do often, just because I'm not any major research kind of person. I just am dabbling in it because it's a great experience. But I just got approved for a student research grant to go on top of another project that working with faculty that are using my idea for a research grant. So hopefully those things turn out well, because research for me is just mind blowing. I'm kind of still finding my way, but hopefully both of these things turn out well and we can get them done. And it looks great when I apply to residency. But all that's down the road. I just finished the shelf. I'm about to eat and have a weekend of doing whatever I want to do. I start OB next week. I just got my schedule. So pretty glad with how the schedule worked out. I saved the time consuming stuff for the end of the rotation. Gonna make me some food because I'm hungry, and talk to y'all later.